Hi guys, this is Gerard Shifting Lens, and yes, today we have a pile of books. I really would like to do this video. It's so much fun because we have done we have done quite some videos now about foam cutting, building, gluing, texturing, etc, etc, etc. And actually we've covered that much ground that I think you must be able to build, and maybe one ingredient is still missing, and that's inspiration. Now, if you are in this hobby, you are obviously in this hobby because you have a lot of inspiration, you have a lot of ideas, so that's perfectly fine. And yes, I also have a lot of inspiration, but it's always nice to get even more ideas. And sure, I can get them through the internet. I get a lot, but another source, another great source are books. So in this video, I want to show you some books that I think are truly, really inspirational. Not only single books, but series of books in all kinds of different languages. Some I can't even read. And a lot of these books are out of print, but you still can find them in garage sales or through second-hand market websites. So without any further ado, let's go through the pile and let me tell you why I think these are so inspirational, at least for me. Okay, so I thought, well, let's make a top 10. I stopped with the top 3, but before I come to that, I show you some other books I think are very interesting. I have here 4 copies from the Time Life series, Ancient Civilizations. Now this is the Dutch version, but you have it in English, in German, in French. I think in the 80s, 70s of the last millennium. These were very much, these were sold a lot and everyone wants to get rid of them. So I think I have the whole series, 20 different books in total for €1 a piece. I'm not sure. But the fun thing is, it's like Rome, Sumeria, Greece, etc, etc. And the cool thing is it has a lot of pictures. It's outdated, for sure. But apart from a lot of nice insights on the specific culture, it also has a lot of nice pictures of archaeological, difficult word, archaeological sites, buildings, and that's very, very interesting. So yes, a nice series. It doesn't cost much, and I think you can find them all over the place. So something that's worth looking into, especially if you are also interested in the history behind a specific civilization. Okay, again, two books, but this could be an enormous pile of books. I visited many cities in Europe, and so for instance, I have here a little book of Prague, of the city of Prague, and I have a little book of the city of Pompeii. And these are more kind of catalogs, I think. But the cool thing is, and I will go through this one, the Prague one. This is a book. You can get it in Prague, but obviously you can get it online. About the city, its history, but it's overwhelming when it comes to the drawings they make in it. It's amazing. everything within the book is drawn in extreme detail. And not only the building itself, I see here all the windows, all the stained glass windows in a specific church, or a cut through of a building, so you can see the interior, the exterior, the texturing, the most extremely detailed works are in this book, and it goes on and on and on. I mean, it's 90 here facades, a whole page of facades, which I love as a crafter. The different types, I already see the layers, and all the ideas are coming to mind at an instant. So if you've happened to visit a larger city, like an old city, preferably in Europe, I think, like the one in Prague, but I think Rome, Paris, or any major city, always look for these kinds of brochures or books. They don't cost much, and it's a great source for inspiration. So on to the next one. Okay, so the next book, it's a German book, but I'm absolutely certain that this type of book is available in English and any language in the world almost. It's about architecture through the ages, from zero up till now. And actually it's a book that's being used in high schools and universities. And it's very technical, but apart from that it's technical, again, it has all kinds of drawings of all kinds of buildings, houses, not only from century to century to century, but they also make comparisons about this is how a house looks like in the Netherlands, where I live, in the 1600s compared to a house in Belgium or in Germany in the same era. So again, it's a great book with a lot of detailed drawings in it. So not only the facades itself, but floor plans, all the ornaments, and it's all being explained what it is, what you see. So again, a very, very, very inspiring and interesting book. You should check it out. It's by Mr. Koch, Baustilkunde. Yeah, I have a lot of fun still going through this book. So the next books, these are fun. I do a lot of workshops, and I noticed that whenever there is a movie, a new movie or a new series on HBO, Netflix, whatever, people say, hey, listen, I have a picture here of this project, I would like to make that. So you can imagine Star Wars, you can imagine Lord of the Rings, but for instance, Stranger Things, it's like this big Victorian wooden house. So here we have, which I think is very, very nice, the American Victorian Cottage and Homes by Palliser. And another one is Barber's Turn of the Century Houses. And these are actually a kind of catalogs, at least this one is. I start with this one. So this is actually a catalog of houses a company can build or can make, where you actually see the drawing of the house, you see the floor plan of the house, and you see the price of what it would cost when you want to have the drawings for the house, so you can build the house for real, which is absolutely fun. And if you've seen the series Stranger Things, and you see the house or the haunted house on the hill, or take a look at the great video of tabletop witchcraft, about the great Victorian ghost mansion, then you know what I mean. So actually, again, if you are into this type of projects, this is a great book, Barbers, and this Victorian cottage home by Palliser. So yeah, something totally different, but absolutely worth to take a peek. So here I have two books. Again, they are both, they're both German. This is a book from Austria, and this is a German book. But they both are talking about nativity scenes, and that is a huge hobby community, building nativity scenes or nativity scenery, I must say. And I had the privilege of hosting a few workshops with people who are in this niche of the hobby, and it's again very inspiring, and especially this one. This is a book that shows how far you can go when it comes to this scenery. A fun fact is that especially in the south of Germany, almost all over Austria and Italy, there are many nativity scenery builders, and they make the greatest dioramas. And this specific book is about all the building communities within Austria and their works. And it's not like a little stable with a holy scene, but it's like they build total medieval cities or oriental cities out of foam, plaster, wood, etc., etc. So these books again are very inspiring. It's a much larger scale. The figures are 4 inch, 10 centimeters high. But again, it's great. So if you happen to see a book about this topic, take a peek. Might be very interesting. So yeah, something I can recommend. So this book, a couple of years ago, I did a workshop in Germany, and someone visited and brought this book along, and it says, or the title of the book is Historical Views of Old German Cities. It is by an artist called Metz, Ernst Metz, who lived between 1892 and 1973, and he made a lot of pencil drawings of cities, but in a very limited area where he lived. And since he started drawing actually before World War I, he made the most fantastic drawings, very detailed, very precise, of how specific parts of the city look like. Parts that are not there anymore simply because of World War II, when a lot was destroyed. But his drawings are very, very precise, and they look really amazing. Like every stone is drawn, and yeah, it's a delight to see. It's complete works, I guess. It's a book of 120 pages. Again, it has a lot of nice drawings in it, And again, if you like, let's say, medieval cities, then this is absolutely a book to look for. So yes, this is how the book looks like. I think this book is, I'm very sorry, but it's also out of print, but it's very, very nice. Well, I thought about making a top 10, but actually I decided to show you a few books I like, but I did make, in the end, a top 3. And number 3 is a range of comic books, which I think are extremely inspiring. And it's by a French artist. I believe his name is, no, I'm certain I wrote it down because it's Mr. Jacques Martin. And he was I think he did, he learned or he studied architecture, but his passion was all about history and drawing, art, making drawings. So combining this all, he ends up making comic books. And he made a few series of comic books, and the ones that are the best, in my opinion, are the travels of Tristan, and here we have the travels of Alex. Now, just a few things. I think Alex is the best one, and Alex is actually, he's a guy, he's a young adult, and he lives in Rome. He was born somewhere there, or he was born there, and it starts off the series like a normal day in Rome. It's about an adventure, but which is a little bit weird because he travels all over the world. He travels to Paris, he travels to Bruges, to Egypt, he travels to Pompeii, to Babylon, to Rome, there he comes from, even to the Aztecs and the Mayas. So, which is a bit weird since it plays in a setting of 1000 years ago. But again, what you see in these books is amazing. You can actually see that he, Mr. Martin, that he visited most of these places and got his inspiration on the spot. So he did a lot of research. It's a story, but it's also it also tells more about the history of the country, the city, or whatever the topic is. So again, very detailed and very inspirational, and really, please check them out because they are really, really nice. Okay, number 2 on my list is the complete etching works of Piranesi. A very thick book, over 1000 pages. But Piranesi lived somewhere around 1850s, and he grew up around Rome. And what he did, he was an engraver, and he engraved what he saw at that time. He did see a lot. He made a lot of detailed engravings about tombstones, fireplaces, construction work, but also buildings and the foundation of buildings, It's absolutely stunning what he made. And again, but it's all of course Roman architecture, but it's very interesting also to see how the stone structures are, the foundations, a lot of ruins of towers that are half fallen apart. Very nice. The complete works of Piranesi, and an absolute delightful book. I have a lot of inspiration from this one. So on to the final one. This is the Encyclopédie Médiévale from Mr. Viollet Leduc, and you know the guy. If you have paid attention, for about 2 years ago, he was in the news. I mean, okay, he lived again in the 1800s. Let me see. Yep, 1814, 1879. And you know the guy, because he was in the news about 2 years ago. You might remember when the Notre Dame was set on fire by accident. And I think the most epic moment was when this spire that was standing in the middle of the roof collapsed. You might remember that. If you remember that, then you know Mr. Viollet Leduc, because this is the architect who, in the mid-1900s, 1850, decided that there should be a spire on the Notre Dame. And that's his work. Now, this guy was he wasn't an architect. He wanted to be an artist, but they wouldn't let him go into that artist school, and he started drawing by himself. More or less, that's the story. And he had a passion for, yes, architecture. So during his life, he traveled through France from north to south, from east to west, in the 1900s, right? And he made a lot of drawings and sketches about what he saw. And what he saw disturbed him, because a lot of what he saw was falling apart. It was in a bad state. And long story short, during his life, he became the top advisor and restorator. I'm not sure, is that? The guy restoring landmarks within France, from churches to chapels to castles to any kind of housing, everything, the Carcassonne, everything that was of historical value, he was more or less involved by restoring it. And while doing so, he made a lot of drawings of what he saw or how it should be. So this specific spire I told about that was lost during the fire of Notre Dame is in this book. He designed the spire and it came on there. And even you see here detailed drawings of siege engines, also very cool, and how they work. Actually, the Encyclopédie Médiévale is a book with close to 1,500 pages, but actually it are two books combined. The first section, the first half of the book, is all about architecture, and the second half is all about life, about clothing, armor, weaponry, etc. So again, and this is a very nice book. Again, a lot of inspiration. If you look for pictures, if you look for inspiration, and you go and browse the internet and you try to find pictures of Viollet-le-Duc or from Piranesi, you might find a few, but you will never find his complete works on the internet that you can only find in a book. So I think books still add some value when it comes to getting some inspiration. Well, this wraps up a rather long video, but again, then you know, I think this is interesting. I think it's interesting. I like this. I want to share this with you. I hope you liked it, or at least value the effort I put into it. With all that being said, and thinking about all that we have done, we now truly come to a point that we really have to build something. So maybe, no, I'm sure. The next videos, let's try and build something. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day, and see you soon.